Vedanta Center of Greater Austin. We have come here together to celebrate the 125th anniversary of Swami Vivekananda's Chicago speech. Swamiji represented India and Hinduism at the first World Parliament of Religions held from 11 to 27th of September in the year of 1893. He began his speech with salutations to sisters and brothers of America. To these words, he got a standing ovation from a crowd of 7,000 people, which lasted for 2 minutes. Swami Vivekananda got a huge success with his work in the West. After returning to India, his foremost focus was to set up Belur Math as a center to provide service to the mankind with the motto, Atmano Mokshartha Jagat Hitaya Cha. Today, we will reminisce some of the events from Swamiji's life. Oindrila Mojumdar will sing the Pranam Mantra of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda, followed by the chanting of stotras by Arushi Das and Anirban Das.
Avatarvadishthaya Ramakrishnaya te Namaha. Om Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagata पाद पद में तयोः श्वेता प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः प्रणमामि
Thank you, Induladi. It was beautiful. Now Devi will present a short talk on honoring Swami Vivekananda.
Yeah, she is today. No, that's okay. She just announced. So you just can start and they can do it next.
I want to thank everyone and thank you, Chaya, for inviting me to speak today. I feel very honored to be in this place, and I feel that Swami Vivekananda speaking at the Parliament of World Religions is why I'm here today and why I found my path not only to Vedanta but here to VCGA. I made some small magnets so you can take back home. Just so you can remember today's event, so feel free to take one and pass those along.
Devi can write down.
Oh, yes. So I'm going to speak a little bit about Swami Vivekananda today, and just a little bit about my own journey here. my own journey to Vedanta and to the center. And it all started probably like 8 or 9 years ago when I read Pathways to Joy, the Master Vivekananda on the four yoga paths to God. Many of you already know my story. I actually grew up in a Pentecostal Christian home. My grandfather and many of his brothers were pastors and preachers. And so I grew up with a religion that was, it was beautiful, but at the same time it was very fearful, because I knew that I only had 2 ways to go. I was either going to go to heaven or I was going to go to hell. And as I grew up, I didn't believe that there was, this power to be that could make these decisions of who could go to heaven and hell. And so I would ask my mother and ask my aunt, and they believed in blind faith. And so over time, they got tired of me questioning, so I just stopped asking, because I knew they didn't have an answer to give me, or an answer that would satisfy my need and my curiosity of how could this God who's so just but yet be so fearful as well. And so I stopped questioning. And so when I read this book, I felt I had truly found my path. And it was a sense of relief that I knew that what I had been looking for, I had found in the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. So I just want to share a little bit. And most of y'all already know this story, so feel free to bear with me. So can you see this slide? Because I don't want to read word for word. So we know that when Swami Vivekananda was born, he was full of energy. And I thought it was interesting because many times as parents, we don't know what our children will grow up to be. But his mother found him extremely restless and hard to control at times. And so she's quoted as saying, "I prayed to God for a son, but he sent me one of his demons." She would say that in frustration, but he was not a bad boy. But early on, he had a fascination for the wandering monks, and he would actually practice meditation for fun. And then on the next slide, we know that as he grew older, he was very successful in his college studies, and he mastered Western philosophy and logic, and even questioned the orthodox belief of Hinduism. Reason, he felt, was the surest guide in life, yet reason didn't satisfy the yearnings of his soul. And so about at this same time, he met Ramakrishna. And very diverse, different backgrounds he came from compared to Swami Vivekananda. I guess in the early times, he found him that he was more like a madman. But as he got to know Sri Ramakrishna more, he really realized that this holy man radiated a holy atmosphere unlike anything else he had experienced elsewhere. And so he got closer to Sri Ramakrishna. And as the relationship grew, on the next slide, Narendra became fired by the ideal of renunciation, and that the only thing important was to realize God. After Sri Ramakrishna died, we know that Swami Vivekananda took the vows of a monk, and he was wandering in India for 2 years. And he saw a lot of misery, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering in his wanderings for 2 years. And that's what fueled him actually to want to come to America. On the next slide. And so I'm not going to read the entire his speech, but in reading that book that I had mentioned, this is one of the things that resonated with me when he said, "I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal tolerance, but we accept all religions to be true." And I think right now, in the world that we're living right now, this message that he spoke in 1893 is even more relevant now, I think, in the crazy world that we're living in. But it was interesting because I thought to myself, okay, I found the path. Now do I have to go tell my family? And so I thought, well, how do I reconcile this? They had their own beliefs. And as I kept on reading and learning, on the next slide, I learned that this is something that I do want to read. It says, "As the different streams having their sources in different places, all mingle their water in the sea. O Lord, so the different paths which men take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked, straight, all lead to thee. And I think when I learned this, there was a sense of calm and peace within me, because we're all on our own journeys and we're all on our own path. And the truth that Swami Vivekananda spoke is something that really touched me in a way that I could respect the paths that my friends and my family and my mother and everyone else was on. They're on their path and their journey, and that we're all on the same path leading to the same place. I'm so sorry. Swami Vivekananda announced the universality of religious truths and the sameness of the goal of all religious realizations. And he learned this from Sri Ramakrishna. He learned from him the truth that all religions were one, and that all were paths leading to the same goal, the same God. It was interesting to me also that as he traveled after the speech across the United States, he understood the importance of tailoring his message and his words and his speeches according to the different people he was with in the different parts of the United States that he was in. But his universal message of Vedanta was the same. He says, "I do not want to convert you to a new belief," he told us. "I want you to keep your own belief. I want to make the Methodist a better Methodist, a Muslim a better Muslim, the Hindu a better Hindu." He was not charging, he was not here in the United States to convert anyone. His message, it states here, in life is to ask the East and West not to quarrel over different ideals, but to show them that the goal is the same. And I think the next slide is really struck me in my heart when he's quoted as saying, "We should look upon each other in the most charitable light. It is not easy to be good. You are good because you cannot help it. Another is bad because he cannot help it. If you were in his position, who knows what you would have been? The woman in the street or the thief in the jail is the Christ that is being sacrificed that you may be a good person. Such is the law of balance. All the thieves and the murderers, all the unjust, the weakest, the wickedest, the devils, they are all my Christ. That is my doctrine. I cannot help it. My salvation goes to the feet of all the good, the saintly, and to the feet of the wicked and the devilish. They are all my teachers. As I see more of the world, see more of men and women, this conviction grows stronger. Whom shall I blame? Whom shall I praise? Both sides of the shield must be seen." So we know he died very young at 39 years old. At the time of his death, he already had formed the Vedanta Society of New York, and then later would come the Vedanta Society of Northern California and the Vedanta Society of Southern California. On the next slide, I learned that when the United States celebrated its bicentennial in 1976, the Smithsonian Institution in DC published a book titled Abroad in America, writing regarding 27 visitors to this country who did not remain here, who had most influenced this culture. One recognized at last was Swami Vivekananda. Thank you all. Thank you for letting me be part of your presentation today.
Thank you, Debbie. It was very insightful. So we will invite Arushi and Anirban to chant the stotras. Arushi, thank you.
सह वावहै देवस्तिनावतीतमस्तु मामि विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं सह वावहै देवस्तिनावतीतमस्तु मामि विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं सह वावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मामि विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय पसमाङ्गरागाय माहेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय सलिलाचन्दनचर्चिताय नन्देश्वर प्रमथनाथ माहेश्वराय मन्दारपुष्पबहु पुष्पशुभूषिताय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय गौरी पदरनाजविन्द सूर्यादक्ष्वाजनाशिकाय श्रीलीनकण्ठाय विश्वाध्वजाय तस्मै सकाराय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय तीर्थकुम्भो गौतमार्य वोनिन्ददेवाचितशेखराय दानविश्वरुणमोचनाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय यशीर्षकृपा गदाधराय पिनाकहस्ताय सालतनाय देवाय देवाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै शक्याराय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय
Thank you, Arushi. It was very melodious and beautiful.
Hi everyone. Swamiji quoted these lines in his Chicago speech from Upanishads. Like, Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra Arya Dhamani Divyani Tasthu Vedam Ayatam Purusham Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamasa Parasthat. which means, "Hear ye, children of immortal bliss, even ye that resides in higher heavens. I have found the Ancient One, who is beyond all darkness, all delusions. Knowing him alone, you shall be saved from death." Children of immortal bliss, what a sweet, what a hopeful name. Come, let's listen to the children of immortal bliss, reminisce some events from the childhood of Swami Vivekananda. Thank you.